The movie starts with someone's truck was passing by a smashed car on the road, and there was also a white car on the corner of that road, which was crushed, but not as badly as the other car. We can observe that a woman arrived from another city. Hee Joo is her name. She got off the bus since it had stopped at the incorrect terminal. She took a taxi to a factory where she will work. She appears to have previously worked there.
희주야.
Someone appears to recognize her, and she is questioned whether she is okay after her spouse died in a traffic accident. Hee Joo's relatives are a couple who recently moved out to another place. She paid them a visit. After she took her husband's belongings from her brother's house, Hee Joo was depressed. She went to see a psychologist. She met someone, but accidentally, she saw the women's man that were in the accident with her husband. She appeared to feel that her spouse was to blame for the accident and the damage. The other lady went to see her husband, who is in a coma. Their family appears to be impoverished, and the family's daughter seemed depressed and disappointed. The doctor is not treating her husband since he is in a coma, and they will do so if he awakens from his coma. Hee Joo was walking to work when she noticed a woman Young Nam and realized she worked there as well. This lady works at the cafeteria. Hee Joo wanted to quit her work because of that. Hee Joo appeared to be hiding from the women. Hee Joo was acknowledged by the women, so she approached her. Hee Joo felt sorry for the woman.
괜한 소리만 밥이나 먹어.
가서 내가
When Hee Joo went to get her things from the factory, she came across a young girl collapsed on the road, so she helped her. But when she saw the lunchbox, she realized she was that woman's daughter, and she kicked her out of her house. Hee Joo was in pain and wanted to see a psychologist, but her daughter called and asked her to come to her house. She informed her that she had forgotten something, but that was not the case. Hee Joo asked HVO if she knew her, so the girl inquired whether Hee Joo knew her mother. Hee Joo borrowed her brother's car and drove to the scene of the accident because that girl requested a favor from her, however. Hee Joo was unaware of this at first. Hee Joo had no idea the girl went to where that accident happened until she talked about her father and how he attempted suicide by dying in a car accident. She was taken aback when she found out. We saw that even the young man looked after her husband, but she was exhausted and ashamed of what her husband had done. As a result, she attempted to murder him. However, she did not. She went to the hospital to see the young man and her husband in order to find out the truth. But when her daughter noticed her, she asked, "What are you doing here?" Hee Joo yelled angrily at her that man had murdered her husband. Hee Joo went to the police station to look for more evidence.
괜히 계장님 찾아가.
1차 보고서예요. 상대방 차가 가드레일에 부딪히고 정차돼 있다고 돼 있잖아요.
After the mother was looking for her daughter in a scattered manner, she went to the police station. A company representative arrived to explain what had happened to her husband and the accident. She sobbed and was shocked. She evicted him from the house. In the factory, young man starts a fire. She tries to stab herself after the hopeless attempts for Hee Joo to reveal and discover the truth. She couldn't though. She was looking for her daughter because that woman came to visit her. SHA inquired, "What did you say to my daughter?" Hee Joo informed her that your daughter was well versed in everything. Young Nam advised Hee Joo not to jump to conclusions when she did not know everything. Hee Joo began talking about how young Nam allowed her husband to commit suicide while doing what? Young Nam uses her hands to cover Hee Joo's mouth. Young Nam received a call while Hee Joo was driving that her husband was awake. As a result, they drove to the hospital. but they came to a halt because there was a deer on the road.
I think that after they both saw that deer means that both their husbands weren't in fault, because the cause of the accident was the deer's appearance.